All right, hello and welcome everyone to episode 60 of the GGG Podcast, our last episode of the year, our Games of the Year episode. I'm really excited to get into it. But before we do, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to our podcast over on YouTube, please do so. And if you're listening to the audio only version on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow us over there as well. As always, Phil is joining me. Phil, are you excited for our Games of the Year list to come out? I mean, I'm pretty pumped.
It's that time of year when Jeff Keighley gets into everybody's house and leaves them a little present called the Game Awards. And you know what we say? We say, get out of here with that, Jeff Keighley. We got our own Game Awards, and we're going to everyone's house, and we're putting reindeers on their roof.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, we got to get to work because there's not a lot of time left. So
we really procrastinated.
But yeah, we're coming off of the Game Awards from last week. Not even really last week. It was only like 4-5 days ago, something like that. So yeah, a lot of very intriguing announcements. A good Game Awards this year. I'll take it because you don't always get a good Game Awards, and I'm pumped. I'm excited about video games. It reinvigorated me. It gave me a little gamer juice.
Yeah, it's we don't really have E3 anymore. Mm-hmm. So now we kind of have like this winter social where we celebrate all the games that happened that year, and then we look forward to some really great things coming ahead.
Yeah, super stoked. All right, so before we get into our top 10 games of the year, Phil, have you been playing anything this week? I suspect that you might have been playing one game in particular. But I'm curious if anything else sneaked in there, if it was just that.
I made a bit of time for Helldivers 2.
Mm-hmm.
The new enemy type is intriguing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I got the new battle pass. I'm ready to dive into it eventually. However, I have not been able to stop playing Marvel Rivals. I'm logging in every day. I'm doing the dailies. I'm trying to knock out missions for individual heroes, because once you knock out a certain amount of them, you get cool skins for Star-Lord and for Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going pretty deep on Marvel Rivals right now. Such a great game. Really came in strong at the end of the year. Yeah. What have you been playing so far? I'm guessing something that I also played.
Helldivers.
Yep.
Yeah, I have been playing quite a bit of Helldivers. The Illuminate, very hard enemy. But the developers have been very they're not for everyone. This is for the hardcore, coordinated fans out there, and so we're not gonna make them softer just because people are complaining. So
every enemy is for the coordinate. Like, if you shoot each other, you die. This game is for the coordinated fire team out there.
Yes, but you know how it is. Sometimes you play and somebody's on the other side of the map, and somebody's checking out a point of interest. Well, one person's doing the objective. People get discombobulated. So I've been having a relatively good time with that. Been checking out the melee weapons and everything. So been having fun, but yeah, it's hard. Still trying to figure out which weapons work the best. I think I have like one loadout that I know will work, but I need to continue to experiment, and that's part of the fun, is like figuring out what combinations work, what combinations don't. So I've been playing that, and then I also picked up an indie game that came out last year called Forever Skies. And that's a game. It's kind of like a little combination between like Lethal Company and Void Crew, I'd say, but it's like a survival craft type game where it's the Earth has been infected with this horrible virus. You get sent down there in an escape pod, and you have to build this airship. It's like a big blimp, like airship type thing, and you go around from place to place, and you collect resources, and you upgrade your airship, and it's multiplayer. So a bunch of friends as well bought it along with me, and so we've been having a really great time with it. A little janky. I can't say that I fully recommend it just yet, unless you're well aware of what you're getting into with an early access indie game. But I think it's a really cool idea, so I've been having a lot of fun with that as well. All right. Well,
cool.
with that, let's get into our games of the year. The way we do it over on the GGG podcast is Phil and I have a top 10 list of the games of the year, and we have not disclosed our rankings to each other. So we're going to start down at 10. I'm going to say what I have at 10. Phil's going to go with what he says at 10, and then we're going to do a little negotiating either after the fact. We might table a couple of them and see where we land for the official GGG podcast games of the year. So without further ado, Phil, can we get your 10th game, the 10th best game this year according to Phil?
That is going to be, and I think this is going to be our first point of division, Space Marine 2 for me.
Okay. Yes. All right. Space Marine 2. Well, you know what? For how much I know you did not play that game, I'm surprised it even made the list. And in fact, I bet you felt a little bad. And you're like, I better put this in for Paul.
Listen, I was like, hey, this was fun. Not fun enough for me to finish it, per se, but fun.
All right. Well, for number 10 for me, I have Dragon's Dogma 2 for number 10. So I have Space Marine higher on my lists. Phil, do you have Dragon's Dogma somewhere higher on your list?
Yeah, I wonder if we have it in the same spot. That'd be also pretty funny.
It might be.
We did a little classic switcheroo. Well, let's scoot right along.
All right.
And, unravel this mystery. For number 9, I have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay. Strong choice. Nominee at the Game Awards. For me, I got Metaphor Refantazio.
Okay.
Another
JRPGs.
Yeah. RPGs in the number 9 slot. I have a friend who is absolutely in love with Metaphor Refantazio, and he has backed up everything that other people have said about it and reviews that I've seen. And so out of respect for him, I wanted to include this on the list, even though I have not personally played it. But this is definitely a game that I will probably pick up on a deal at some point. So
that's, I'm kind of in the same spot with that game where I'm like, this seems good, but I know I never finish a Persona game, and this is like
people compare it to
Persona game.
Yeah,
it's like a Persona game that's probably more along the line with my interests, but we'll see. All
right, let's keep moving.
Why don't you do your number 8?
All right, I'll do my number 8. For number 8, another Game of the Year at the Game Awards nominee, I have Balatro at number 8. Okay. Yes. I have bought this game on my phone. I have a good friend of mine, Austin, who we did the interview with over at Obsidian. He absolutely loves this game. My girlfriend plays this game right before bed, like almost every single night. So I got to give it its due. It's a fun game. It really is. So yeah. What about you? What do you got for number 8?
I also have another little indie darling for number 8 on my list, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I think that these guys have really finally put it together over there, and they're making good games. In all seriousness, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is probably the best Call of Duty I've played in a while. Granted, I skip every couple of them. If it doesn't drive some sort of discussion, I'm like, I'm not gonna play this one. But the single-player story in this one is pretty incredible, and they do a lot of things that you don't normally see in a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard great things about it, and honestly, like all the zombies clips, like makes me really curious. So I might cave and buy this eventually. Do you have it on? Are you playing it on PlayStation or PC?
PC on Game Pass.
Oh, that's right.
That also probably made it a lot easier for me.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so for no, you're back to you for number 7.
All right, I have a Black Myth Wukong as number 7. For me, really fun Souls-like style game. The main thing that brought it down, like it gets a bit long in the tooth. You're mastering like one weapon. The main thing that brought it down for me is like the weird fandom around it being like a quote unquote anti-woke, anti-SJW game, and I'm just like,
I did not hear about
every
that.
time I read about it now, it bums me out, and I'm like, I really just enjoyed this game because it was a cool monkey man beating people to death with a stick, but
Yeah,
so
I
the
mean that could be people
yeah.
projecting, and also it's a Chinese developer, it's a Chinese story,
Mm-hmm.
Chinese culture. Chinese culture is much more conservative, so makes sense. But that is unfortunate to hear. So for my number 7, I have Palworld coming in at number
Mm.
7. I think a lot of us. I almost forgot that it even came out this year. So like, came out. I think it came out like January, February, something like that.
Did very
Like
early.
right before Helldivers 2, and so yeah, I absolutely love Palworld. I hate the legal battle that's going on with them and Nintendo, so don't like to see that. But I was really happy to see a creature, battler, RPG.
Survival game.
Yeah, survival
Yeah.
game. It just really combined a lot of simple nostalgic styles that really gelled well for me, and so I really really like it. So yeah. What about or number 6 for
But
me? Here, let me switch back.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
number 6 for me. So I have Black Myth Wukong at my number 6.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm, this is one game that I really, really want to be able to sink my teeth into. I think the creature design is, really impeccable looking. And I think like a lot of people really talk up Elden Ring and the Dark Souls games for having incredible creature design and everything. And I absolutely agree with that. I just don't, the creepiness of a lot of Elden Ring creature designs is just not my artistic style that I like.
Mhm.
But Black Myth Wukong, you still get some creepiness, no doubt, but you also get some more, I don't know, different kinds of design that are more like fantastical versus like, I'm going to be the most horrifying creature you've ever seen in your life. So
Yeah, I feel like Black Myth Wukong takes like Chinese myth and was like, what if we just kind of literally create what they were describing, and it's like sometimes a little scary and sometimes a little gross and sometimes really fascinating to look at.
yeah, sometimes it's a big
Yeah.
dragon or it's a
Yeah.
big tiger or something.
So there's a lightning dragon that's hell to fight. My number 6 is, speaking of dragons, Dragon Age Veilguard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good
We
pick.
are we're getting to the point where a lot of these games we're gonna hear some names again and again and back and forth.
Yep.
But Dragon Age Veilguard is a great. It feels almost like a heist movie, uh, RPG, like fantasy RPG, because you're like assembling your crew, you're making buddies with them, you're
Yeah.
going on like these kind of very bombastic missions, and everybody's got this sort of like, I say this in a positive way, Joss Whedon esque like just back and forth and like quippiness. Like I really enjoy the way that the characters get along. Um, but yeah, that is at my number 6 slot.
Number 6. Okay. Yeah, right on. I love Dragon Age Veilguard. I do have it mildly higher on my list. But for my moving on to number 5, I got Frostpunk 2.
Oh, okay.
Love Frostpunk. I love the strategy of it. There weren't really a lot of good strategy games that came out this year. It's a genre we tend to forget about. And like Frostpunk 2, as hard as it is I would call it the Elden Ring of strategy games. Like as hard as it is, like they did everything to just make the game bigger and better and improve on the scope and the mechanics. And once you get the hang of it, it's a really great game. So I'm very confident in it.
One of my favorite things about games is that like movies, when you see a sequel is being made, most of the time it's like, no. But when a game is being made, they just make it bigger and better, baby. They just like, hey, here's all the stuff we couldn't do in the first one. Enjoy.
Yes. All right, what do you got for number 5, Phil?
Number 5, I have Palworld.
Oh.
It really scratched an itch for me. I played a good amount of Palworld. I loved the different creature designs. I love the way they like interacted with the world. You could get like a big rock turtle and have him mine for you. There was just a lot of really things that like 12-year-old me playing Pokemon wanted to or like imagined were in the game. This game actually did all of those things, and it was a very small team. Like, I'm rooting for them because they're kind of indie. Maybe they stole a bit of Pokemon's thunder, but Pokemon can't really claim that anymore because we have Monster Rancher, Digimon, Slime Factory. There's so many monster games. It's just a genre now.
Right. Absolutely. Temtem free on PlayStation Plus right now if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
So
Great
that's
game.
You're talking about a Pokemon ripoff. Temtem is a Pokemon ripoff. But they
100 you go to a Pokemon professor and he gives you a Temtem.
Yes. And the only way they got around the legal business is because they're Tem cards instead of spheres, and that's what Palworld's being sued over right now because they use the spheres. Stupid. All right, that was for number 4.
That was number 5.
Number 5. Okay, yes. All right, so number 4, Phil.
My number 4 is going to be Dragon's Dogma 2. Really excellent action RPG. Like, it's an RPG with a lot going on. A little going on. There is a lot of that game where you're just walking back and forth between places and like places you've been before because fast travel is very limited. But that adventure that you have like with your pawns in between those places and like discovering new zones it probably gives me one of the most like adventure game feelings of any game I've played because there's just a lot of like diegetic like adventure and wild things that happen. So yep, number 4.
Number 4. All right. Well, my number 4 also an adventure RPG, Dragon Age Veilguard, coming in at my number 4. This one was the hardest to place on my list, to be honest, because in fact, I feel like the next 2 games are the hardest to place on my list because I really liked them for me, but I understand where other people don't care for it. so this is just my personal thing. I really enjoy Dragon Age Veilguard. I think it does have some problems. Its writing could be better. They did shoot for kind of a wide market with their writing. But I loved it so much. I 100%ed it, and then I started a new game. And it's really rare for me that I finish a game and I'm like, I want to play more. And maybe if the game has like a multiplayer mode, sure. But just starting over an RPG that quick just doesn't happen for me. So yeah, Dragon Age.
The combat in that game is really good.
The combat is great. And that without it, it doesn't, it doesn't get all the way up there on my list. So yeah. All right. What about,
why don't you hit me with your number 3?
My number 3 is your number 10, Space Marine 2.
Ooh, okay.
Similarly to Dragon Age Veilguard, I'm a Warhammer fan. I feel like Space Marine 2 was not a perfect game. I think the campaign was pretty short. And I thought that the story was kind of in line with the first one. So it kind of keeps it out of like any like top tier rating for me, but I really love the gameplay. The controls are a little quirky, but once you get used to them, like sometimes I just think about like parrying in that game, just the parry mechanic, and just how satisfying it feels to have this leaping monster coming at you, and you're just like, no. So yeah, it makes
catch it by the throat and beat its friends to death with its body.
Exactly.
Pretty good.
Exactly. So yeah, in my number 3 slot.
Before we go on, the secret level episode that has to do with Warhammer, basically the Space Marine, because it follows Titus. So good, so much action, and such a cool if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It handles the action that exists in that game really, really well, and all of the very cool moments that you will likely experience in future Space Marine games.
Yeah, but also similar to the game, very light on story. So not really a whole lot of story that happened, but the animations were impeccable, I have to say. Okay, your turn for number 2. Or no,
Number three.
Number three.
My number 3 spot is probably a kind of a surprise, but it's Marvel Rivals.
Yep.
It's incredible. It's such a good game, and it's free. It's free. They let you do it. You just download it on your machine and start playing with people and picking DPS when you should probably be a tank or a healer. But
heals. I'm just saying.
No. Yeah, and listen, I actually started playing heals in that game, and to its credit, healers are more fun in that game than they are in Overwatch or any other like game like that. Like,
I agree.
You feel no matter what you're doing, you're contributing to the team, and you like have a direct effect on the outcome. Every character feels so overpowered, and it balances out. Like it's this horseshoe of like Moon Knight is killing 3 people at a time, except Venom can swoop in and stop him. Mm-hmm. And as a fan of like Marvel stuff, a lot of the character interactions are really funny and cute, and like just it's exciting to like hear, oh, what's Luna Snow gonna say to Spider-Man?
Right. I think like you were just talking about the some of the conversations. Like I think there was a conversation between like Star-Lord and Venom, and it's like it's something you never would think about. It's like, oh yeah, Star-Lord would probably, they were talking about like what like the symbiote planet, and it's like, oh, Star-Lord would actually know or could know where that is. It makes sense. Mm-hmm. And even though you don't really connect the dots between like Guardians of the Galaxy and like the Spider-Man universe, I get it. In the Avengers, they interacted a little bit, sure, but whatever. But like, I don't know. It's just you don't think about that kind of stuff. So
yeah, no, fun little like Easter egg that's in there. It's Clintar, which is a planet symbiotes are from, was actually discovered and written about in a Guardians of the Galaxy comic. Granted, it was like a couple years ago, so Venom was on the team, but they go to the symbiote homeworld that didn't have a name before it. But yeah, they like, because those 2 characters are there, that interaction is like, oh, what a fun little Easter egg. But yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah,
because I could keep going about Marvel Rivals, and I do not want to.
All right, so number 2, I think we are in agreement on this one.
Should we say it on 3?
Yes. 1, 2,
1, 2, 3.
Helldivers 2.
Yeah, and we did put it in the 2 spot just because it has a 2 in the name, right? That's
primarily,
why we both did it.
Yeah, that's primarily why we did it. So yeah, I mean, no secret. If you listen to the show this year, you know both of us love Helldivers. And just the uniqueness that it employs in its universe, and how it listens to people, and how it like continues to push this narrative forward. And yeah, I get that the narrative is a war, but like that's the concept of the game. So, and they make it make sense, and they've had great support for this game. Like, how many war bonds have they come out with this year? And then you look at other games, you know, you have, of course, the games with great support like Fortnite and whatnot, but like not a lot of games get the amount of support that Helldivers has gotten this year. If we look at all of the stuff that they've added. So
new enemy classes, new weapons, new vehicles for vehicles in the first place, and then new vehicles, new weapons, and they've done a lot of balancing throughout their time, which was probably, I think, where Helldivers kind of had a bit of a villain arc where they overtuned things, and then recently they were like, just go nuts. Like, we realize it's more fun for all of you if you're just playing with your favorite weapons against these impossible odds. Because that is kind of the case with the game, that every time you're dropping into something, you are likely not going to get out with like a clean run. You are likely going to shoot one of your friends. You're likely going to do a heroic sacrifice. This game makes the like hectic battles that happen within it feel so visceral and entertaining and fun. Helldivers 2 is just such a good multiplayer game because of the way it encourages teamwork, but also makes you throw a grenade at your friends just because you made a dumb joke.
Yeah, I was playing last night, and somebody, one of my friends, smacked me off of a rock, and I just shot him in the face. It was like, I just hit you. I was like, I don't care. You started it. I finished it. You know.
That's what that game's about.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. And all right, so we're on agreement for number 2, so that's good. And I'm pretty sure we're on agreement for number 1 because we haven't talked about it yet. So I mean, we can try this on you count down the on 3-1. Here we go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Stellar Blade. No, it's Astro Bot.
It's Astro Bot. Come on,
Stellar Blade, you get out of here. Astro Bot is incredible. It is. There is no game that I've played that brings me as much joy consistently. Like every moment of that game, barring some levels that you're just really challenging yourself, it just had me giggling with glee of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're letting me do this. So like, my guy turned into a little balloon and he's just floating around the map. From the way the haptics feel to the way that the little astrobots interact and the fact that you're like collecting and unlocking them, it all just feels so good. Nothing overstays its welcome. Just one of the few games I've rolled credits on this year. And then the credit sequence was also incredible.
Yeah, it was great. I 100% agree. I think we both knew after we played this game, we were like, this is game of the year. This just we can't and it was like we still had a couple of months to go of games coming out, but it didn't matter. We just knew that this was the game of the year. And I think that there hasn't been a lot of backlash, but some people being like, I can't believe it won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And I was like, what about all those Mario games that have won Game of the Year? Like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So, and if you're one of those people who's like, I don't get why people thinks it's so fun, you have to play it. And I recognize some hypocrisy of like, I did not get to play all of the games this year, and I gravitated towards ones that I was, more comfortable with or more interested in. And like, if you enjoy fun, you will enjoy Astro Bot. And that is as complicated as it is. And I think for me, why it was really the game of the year is it just reminded me like it was nostalgic, but at the same time, it was new, it was fresh, it was clean. It has the best haptic feedback of any PlayStation game. It reminds you about the haptic feedback instead of most games playing on the PlayStation where it's just like the developers are not really taking advantage of the tools in the feedback because they don't want to spend time on it or whatever. But it's just, it is happiness in a video game and everyone should play it. Really, I mean that. So...
Yeah, this is one of those games where I think that like, hopefully a lot of parents are like, oh, this one game of the year, I'm gonna get it for my kid, and it just becomes like proliferated that way. That was an easy one. At least the top two pretty freaking easy because they had kind of an indelible mark. There's a lot of people who are upset that Black Myth Wukong didn't win at the Game Awards, and to them I say, better luck in Black Myth Wukong 2. I don't know. It's fine. It's okay. It's not Astro Bot though.
It got a nomination. It deserved to be up there. It made it on both of our lists. So like we're not saying, and that's why I like doing a list more because it's better at recognizing all of the other games this year and whatnot. So all right, let's get down to business, to the hard part, where we have to decide our official GGG ranking. So the biggest stick in the mud is I had Space Marine at 3. You had it at 10. So I'm feeling like a 7 or 8 rank. What can we move around here?
I think this is tough. This is tough for me because I think I can slide down Dragon Age Veilguard, but that is also higher for you.
I have it at 4. So I could slide that down.
And I'm anticipating Marvel Rivals. We're gonna have to move down substantially.
Here's the thing. It's like I've watched a lot of Metaphor Refantazio, and what I think that was the only game, or Metaphor Refantazio and Frostpunk are the 2 games that I had on my list that you did not have on your list. So,
but didn't you have Balatro on your list as well?
oh yeah, I did have Balatro.
Yeah.
So I could, in the spirit of it being kind of a mini game,
Christmas.
I'm gonna bump Balatro off my list to provide some room.
In the spirit of it being probably too much of a game, I'm gonna go ahead and bump Final Fantasy VII Rebirth off my list.
Okay.
There's just a lot in that game. There's a whole piano and a bikini sequence. I know why they did it, but
yeah, we all know why they did it. All right, so what did you have for number 3, Phil, on your list?
I have Marvel Rivals.
You have Marvel
has
Rivals.
Taken me by storm. Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm willing to move that down a few slots.
Okay, and what do you have at number 4?
I have Dragon's Dogma 2. Also willing to move that around. Here's the other thing: Call of Duty Black Ops 6, great game. That's in my 8 slot. I'm willing to bump that one as well, so we just have more playroom. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. All right, so I got Dragon's Dogma 2 at 10. I believe you had it at 5 or 6.
I had it at 4.
4.
But, you know, I don't mind that around an 8 or a 9.
No, we can bump it up more than that. It's okay.
No, it's fine. There's a lot of good games this year. There's a lot of good games.
All right. Well, for number 3, as a compromise, I mean, I think number 3 probably has to be Black Myth.
Wukong?
I mean, probably I have it at 6. Where do you have it?
I have it at 7. What do you got? Where's Palworld at again?
7.
7. Okay.
So we could.
I got that at 5.
Okay.
And I got a Veilguard at 6. I know that was higher for you. That's what, 4?
Yes, indeed. So, yeah. See, this is what I was talking about before we made our list. I was having real trouble with 3 because I didn't feel confident enough in Space Marine to put it at 3, but I did really enjoy it. So
yeah, you got to follow your heart with that.
What do you? Okay, what about? We could go from 3 down. We go Dragon Age. That's too high. It's too high. It's too high.
Yeah, well, okay, here's the thing. In discussions about these games, like its impact on the genre,
yes,
or like on the gaming in the world of gaming,
sure,
might be an important thing. So I think that Black Myth and Palworld both are big enough in terms of like their news storyness and like
sure.
You know, Black Myth is one of the first games operating the Unreal 5 engine that looks just incredible, and Palworld was a game that finally gave us what we all wanted from a Pokemon game.
Right.
So I think those two in number 3 kind of sit right, just because it's like recognition of, damn, y'all ate.
Okay. All right. So how's about Black Myth at 3, Palworld at 4, Veilguard at 5, Dragon's Dogma at 6?
Yeah, Black Myth, and then we got Palworld.
No, but you got Marvel. I got to get Marvel Rivals in there.
I mean, let's see. Where would that? Where are we saying would fall on 6?
Dragon's Dogma.
I will say that I will continue to play Marvel Rivals more than I did Dragon Dogma, so I'm happy to put that up there. But we got to slide Space Marine up because.
Okay, well, Space Marine could be 6.
Let's see here.
So, all right, I'm writing this down. So, number 3, we got Black Myth. For right now, we can change it if we need to change it. For number 4, we have Palworld. For number 5, Dragon Age.
A return to form for BioWare.
Okay. Dragon Age Veilguard. All right, so number 6, we could go Space Marine. We could go Marvel Rivals. What do you think?
It's a tough. Oh, let me see that. So, what do we have then at 7 and 8? Like, I want to see what's on the other side. Or sorry, 8, 9, 10.
So for my 8, 9, 10, I have Balatro, Metaphor Refantazio, Dragon's Dogma is my number 10.
Okay.
So
maybe I'm willing to say Marvel Rival 7, Dragon's Dogma to 8.
Okay. Marvel Rivals at 7. Dragon's Dogma at 8. So Space Marine at 6 then? There's no 6 right now. Okay.
No, I think that's 6.
Okay. Space Marine. All right, so we got 2 more slots.
I think also in defense of Space Marine 2 at 6, they had to overcome someone leaking their game early, they still came out with like a solid game.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Props to them for beating that.
Yeah, and props. Look, anyone who works on Warhammer knows that Games Workshop is super particular, and you have to send so many things to get approval from them, where it has to look exactly Warhammer in order to get all that stuff. So, and they did it, and gosh darn, it looked Space Marine-y, Warhammer-y. All right, so for 9 and 10. I would like to get Frostpunk 2 into one of these slots.
What do we have at 8 again? Oh, we have Dragon's Dogma.
You have Dragon's Dogma.
At 8.
So yeah. And I'm sure there's one of the games on your list that we can throw in there as well.
I think for 10, I'm happy with either Metaphor or Final Fantasy Rebirth. Maybe a little bit more happy with Metaphor because that's like original IP and probably more of a story to tell. But the production value on Final Fantasy Rebirth is like, it's like watching a movie. It's very well done. I don't know. It's difficult. But I think I'm happy with Frostpunk at number 9.
Okay, well, I mean, I could put Frostpunk at 10, so I understand it's not everybody's cup of tea. So, at not, I
think a good strategy game that also like, I think that sort of world's not really represented enough. Like, what is it? A Snowpiercer kind of future. You know,
Frostpunk, steampunk. Yeah. All right, so then I'll take it. Frostpunk at number 9. So yeah, let's get in one more RPG. So is it Final Fantasy or is it Metaphor Refantazio? I'm going to vote for Metaphor Refantazio, but I will concede if you want to push for Final Fantasy.
How about this? Because it's a role-playing game, I happen to have a 20-sided die right here.
All right, here we go.
Odds are Metaphor Refantazio.
Okay.
And evens are Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Let's do it.
19, that's going to be Metaphor Refantazio.
Okay.
And not a bad roll.
Look at that. All right, so let's go through the list right now. So we got Astro Bot at number 1, Helldivers 2 at number 2, Black Myth Wukong at number 3, Palworld, the sleeper, I guess, was at number 4, Dragon Age Veilguard at number 5, Space Marine 2 at number 6, at number 7, Marvel Rivals, Dragon's Dogma 2 at number 8, Frostpunk 2 at number 9, Year of the Twos, and coming in the rear, but still on the list, Metaphor Refantazio at number 10. I think that's a pretty good list. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I think, like, here's the thing about this list. Any one of these games, I'm happy to, like, I feel like it's less of a, it's kind of a ranking, but also just like, hey, these 10 games were dope. Like,
I would recommend
please play
any of these games. Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's great. You got Marvel Rivals in there. You know,
That's right. It's listen. If it came out in September, it might be number one. It's just
I bought the battle pass, so
and it's $5. Okay, one more positive thing for them. They're following Helldivers example, which I'm happy that they're doing for permanent battle passes. So you get the battle pass, and then you can unlock it at any time.
Yeah.
I think as games are evolving, especially games as a service, like they're trying to find the right length, and this is, I think, the right thing. Give us stuff that we can buy for certain skins or whatever, but let us play it at our own pace. Don't make me feel pressured to log into Fortnite and play at a certain time because, sometimes life gets in the way, and then I'm gonna miss out on a cool Lando Calrissian skin.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Just leave it in the store. Let me look at it. Let me look it up in the store. What is the problem with that? Yeah. All right. Well, this is a great list. We were talking about overall, like, how this year felt a little weird, where I feel like there were a lot of good games, but there weren't a lot of bangers. And I think that's why we knew Astro Bot was going to be our game of the year after we played it. But I am looking forward to 2025. Hopefully we'll get Grand Theft Auto in 2025.
Who knows? It's like until 2027.
Maybe a Switch 2. Who knows? But I'm excited for the new year. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to, gamer-wise, in 2025?
In 2025, yeah. Oh man, there's something coming out relative. Oh, you know what? Assassin's Creed. I'm really excited to get into the new Assassin's Creed game. Shadow seems pretty fun, and I think I've been kind of like thirsty for a big open world Ubisoft style game. And I think it's going to be a good time when that comes out. Hopefully, kind of landing in the lull of like, all right, well, I'm just going to play games for a month because there's not much else coming out. But yeah, outside of that, I can't think of anything that's like, and it's because I don't think Grand Theft Auto 5 is or 6 is gonna come out that year. I think it's gonna get pushed back.
Yeah.
The new Elden Ring stuff looks pretty cool. The stuff that we saw from the Game Awards.
Yeah, it does.
But
excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just we had a pretty good year, and the bangers were both like so far and above that we just kind of knew like, all right, well, the rest kind of has to fall in line because Helldivers and Astro Bot, like when Helldivers 2 came out, I was like, this might be game of the year, and it came out so early.
Yes. Absolutely. It's always weird. Like I always hated like when the Horizon games came out because they always came out in February next to a Zelda game. And it was just like nobody's gonna remember you by the time.
Yeah, your lunch is completely eaten by that little blonde boy.
Indeed. So yeah, I'm probably looking forward to. Oh, what?
Monster Hunter Wilds is the game I think I'm most looking forward to.
I think that's what you were thinking of. Yeah. Absolutely. So Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm looking forward to Ghost of Yotei. So, but I'm not certain if it's actually coming out next year. I don't think they had a release date. Do you remember if they had a release date for that?
It just says 2025, so I'm guessing a holiday.
So yeah, November maybe, something like that. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. I love Sucker Punch. Love that production studio. I'm curious to see what they do and the improvements and the changes that they make in this new game. Because, like, again, Ghost of Tsushima was such a great game, won a lot of awards, very renowned, and it was the first. It's the first of its franchise. So, like, I think they can only get better from here. I think, like, most of the time, the second game in a franchise is the best game. You know?
Yeah. Well, and just before that, they really rocked out with the Cole and his electric powers.
Infamous.
The Infamous games. The third one of which being like a really great display on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Kind of forgettable otherwise, but also just Seattle as rendered in that game was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But
it is.
Yeah, they know what they're doing up there, and Ghost of Tsushima playing out like a movie in so many aspects, and playing out like the graphics were never crazy top of the line, but the artistic flavor and style of that game is timeless. Kind of like if you go back and play, Super Mario Sunshine, the graphics don't need to be top notch, but the artistic design is so good. So Ghost of Yate, seeing like what something they built for the PS5 is going to look like, can't wait. Also, love Eric Ishii, Bud, and I'm just excited to see what they portray this character as.
Yeah. So I'm pumped, stoked to the max about it, and I am stoked to the max about podcasting with you next year. This is our 60th episode. We have been doing this for a while. I feel like we have a good rhythm, like we know what we're doing now, know what we're talking about, and like, for everybody out there who listens, want to say really appreciate you. And we're just two passionate gamers trying to talk about the things in games that we enjoy and what we're looking forward to. And yeah, I'm excited to be doing this. So
I'm excited because this year, we are going to hit episode 69, and that's going to be pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do, but yeah.
I've got an idea.
Yeah, nipple tassels just on your face.
Yeah. The whole episode whipping them. And then no more funny episodes until 420. And that's going to be a whiles off. So
it is. And it's going to be very slow episode. All right. Well, that's all the time we got for this week's episode, the last episode of 2024 of the GGG Podcast. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so. And if you could like our video, it really helps us out. And if you're listening to the audio-only version on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, follow us over there as well. And leave us a 5-star review or a 4-star review. I'll take a 3-star review as well. Whatever you feel comfortable with. But really, the 5 is preferable. Thanks.
Really, yeah, just hit a 5. Just hit a 5. Say whatever you want in the comments.
Yeah,
you can call me any slur that won't get you canceled. I don't care. Just give us 5 stars because I want more people to hear our show.
Indeed. All right. Happy holidays, everyone. I hope you have great holidays and Happy New Year. And peace out.
Peace.